Hello, good evening, Miss Faiza. This is our video discussion, fourth discussion video. We are from Lex 2014 and we are from group 14. So today we are going to discuss about the places that we have already decided in the previous video. So who would like to start first?
So I think in this video we have to talk about we exchange ideas on information that we want to include it in our trip video. So I think our theme is a historical theme. We chosen the Malay Heritage Museum, library, and also Human Anatomy Museum. So I think information that we can include about each of the location, maybe a little bit about the background of that places or some activities that are being conducted at the places, or yeah, I think that's information. That's my idea info that I would suggest to include on our video trip.
Okay, I would like to talk about the Malay Heritage Museum. As I do some research on this museum, it has a lot interesting things that we can observe in this museum. First of all, it has a lot of old manuscripts, which is a very historic that we can learn there. It also has the example and the exhibitions of the clothing and the accessories. Uh, and also it has three types of different house which represent Negeri Sembilan House, Pahang House, and also Perak House. Other than that, I think at this museum we can also do activities like uh, photo shooting, like because the house there is very beautiful. I think it is very suitable for photo shooting, and also the admission fee for this museum is only RM2, which is very reasonable.
Yes, I would like to add on Aini and also Nisa. I think besides background and also activities that are being carried out, we can also include informations on how is the entry, is it the fees, the entry fees, the operating hours, and also the distance from UPM. Anyone else have any other suggestions, ideas?
I actually found the information about the Malay Heritage Museum. So I can find that this museum have showcase of many of the culture of Malay people. It shows the like Diane said, the manuscript and the textile of the traditional people. And I also interest in the clothing accessories that include the jewelry, Malay weapon, and also the other things that uh, include the Malay culture. Yep.
Okay, for me, in the last video, I suggested that we go to Sultan Abdul Samad Library, but as I was researching about the library, I couldn't find any significant event that we should highlight. Of course, it has its own history, but there's nothing that mm, we can share to people outside of UPM. So maybe we want to highlight something that has more impact. So I'd suggest that we pick a different location instead of Sultan Abdul Samad Library. And with that, I have two suggestions in mind, which is Putrajaya and also Melaka, because I think it's still quite near.
I have a questions. For the Putrajaya, which place or which buildings that you want to highlight?
Okay, for Putrajaya, I think the most I want to highlight the most, and also the place, the tower that has the capsule. Yeah, so I think it has more interesting stories to be shared compared to the library that I have suggested in the previous video. So
Can I ask something?
Okay.
sure.
Does can we highlight our own university, such as that our own history of UPM?
UPM itself.
Yeah, back then before we using the University Putra Malaysia, it was known as University Pertanian Malaysia, and it's one of background history. And the first building in UPM is my faculty, Faculty Ecology, and that's where the first building for the University Pertanian Malaysia. I didn't research anything about my own faculty, but I know it from my own lecturer. He said that our faculty is the first building in the university, and it's quite interesting. Started with just a two-story building, then became bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's just an idea. If you guys okay with it, or I can stay as Putrajaya, where there's capsule that I also didn't been there, and it's quite interesting. Where the capsule is where the first place of the Putrajaya to be opened, and it was the idea of Tun Dr. Mahdi, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Actually, I agree with Syed. Instead of we choose the Human Anatomy Museum, I think it's better if we choose the UPM building itself. Because for the Human Anatomy Museum, as I do research for the museum, it's not that historic to suit this historical theme. So I prefer say ideas which is UPM building.
From my side, I do agree on Said's point also. How about UPM itself? It's actually out of the box, and I think we can include on facilities and how have UPM has gone to the level of being called research university, and also now being at 200th place in QS World Record.
Yeah, I also agree with Said's suggestion. We talk about the history behind the UPN itself, because I think UPN has a many history stories that we all may know or may not know. So if we choose UPM as a one of our location for our historic thing, so we're going to find out more about our University. So I agree with UPM as our one of our location.
So now
Okay.
we decide to have Malay Heritage, UPM itself, and another one location.
Putrajaya.
Yeah, I think
Putrajaya.
we're gonna specify on the Putrajaya landmark where the
Yeah.
2020 capsule is being placed at, because I think they're going to open the capsule on on this August, I think.
Oh.
So maybe we can share some stories about that, about the capsule itself.
Yeah, I agree with Shukri, and it's quite a historical thing that we also didn't know about Putrajaya before this. Then, when I do some research background, that is, before this, Putrajaya is not something modern, and it's not a place that is right now. It's not a place that I think that will be right now. It's like a government places where they put every sector of government service. So it's quite nice, quite nice idea for the prime minister to locate only the government service places in Putrajaya. So it's much easier among the government services. Yeah, and I agree with the capsule as well, and it will be open this year. Quite interesting.
Maybe Zahira want to add something.
Um, I'm actually quite for the Putrajaya. I think it's usually we go there uh, to make activities, but we actually did not care about their history. So when we do the research about this place, we can find out how the places was built from the from zero to a beautiful places that can provide to the people all the services, and there also some beautiful places to make the family activities. So I think it's quite interesting to go to um, activities historical on the Putrajaya. Much.
Yeah. Sorry. I think all of us agree with three places, which is Putrajaya, UPM itself, and also Malay Heritage Museum, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think uh, that's all from us, I guess.
Uh,
Anyone have any other
I
suggestion?
think we should. Sorry to interrupt. I think we should divide
Oh,
in pair for each location who wants to.
yeah, sure, can.
So anyone who wants to.
Okay.
Like,
Since I pair with Nisa, I would like to choose the Malay Heritage Museum. So the second pair.
Okay, so since I suggested Putrajaya, so I think I'm going to take it in my Paris side.
So
I'm agree. I'm agree. 100%. I'm with you.
So I guess only left us Zahira. We will do on PM. So who will be the first? Which virtual trip will be the first?
Pair is Nisa and
I don't hear you.
I think Nisa and I will do the first virtual trip, which is the Malay Heritage
Malay
Museum.
Heritage. Okay. Who want to do? Who want to go second? I think I and Zahira will go second.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
then
so that
Zahira.
means me and Said will be the third one. Okay,
Okay.
so maybe we can already conclude. Who wants to conclude?
So the conclusion is that we choose three places, which is Malay Heritage Museum, which will be presented by Ainin and Nisa first, and second place would be UPM, which will be presented by me and also Zahira, and the third place would be Putrajaya, which will be presented by Shukri and also Said. I think that's all from us, Doctor.
Yeah,
Okay,
Thank you.
that's all. Thank you, guys.
bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. See you next week.